Hello everyone. Hi, good afternoon. I hope all of you can hear me clearly. Let's check and see. Okay, welcome to my class on the Unacademy live platform. My name is Arifa Zahir and I'm your educator for the day today. And so in today's class, we are going to discuss about describing people. Now, the IELTS speaking topic is varied. There are a lot of topics which come under the IELTS speaking gamut. But in today's topic, we are going to touch upon describing people. Now, why is this particular topic important? Now, before we begin, it's very important to understand that the IELTS speaking is quite varied in terms of the different types of topics that it offers. You would have to be adept at both the, common topics, and you would also need to be adept at abstract topics. So currently we've been doing quite a lot of topics in the recent past which have touched upon common topics. I will keep continuing with it. I will keep doing those topics, but I will also now slowly start moving towards doing abstract topics with you so that things can become clearer for you and you can approach any kind of topic with the confidence that is required for the IELTS speaking examination. Now, without much delay, without much ado, let's begin today's class. Now, my name is Arifa Zahir, and my Telegram and Instagram handle are exactly the same, IELTS with Arifa. Now, the IELTS with Arifa account would give you access to my Telegram account where we do a lot of discussions, where I share topics, where I share ideas, tips. So if you would like to know about all those, please join my Telegram handle, IELTS with Arifa. Apart from that, let me tell you something about myself. I'm one of India's top educators under an academy, and my basic forte is, of course, writing and speaking. But I love all the four skills, but specifically writing and speaking. But if you would like to improve, have an overall idea about what the IELTS exam is all about, come to my classes on the Unacademy platform. And I hope all of you are aware of the 20,000 plus free live classes being provided by Unacademy. Make the most of it. Now, let me tell you something more about why you should be attending my classes, why you should be taking the Unacademy subscription so that you can have access to whatever is being done out there. There are a lot of reasons why the Unacademy subscription would be beneficial for you. One of the major reasons is one subscription, unlimited access. That means you would have not only access to what the teacher is teaching, what the teacher at that moment is sharing with you, but also from the time of inception, whatever the educator has taught. So that is something which is really amazing. You have an access to a huge plethora of options, and I would suggest make the most of it by taking the subscription. Learn from your favorite teacher, of course. A real-time interaction with teacher. You can ask doubts in the class, ask about the various skills, get your answer scripts checked, and also limited number of students. You do not have hundreds of students there. They're quite a limited number, and you can get your scripts checked, your audio clips checked, and which is an added advantage if you take my subscription and use my referral code BE trainers. Now, this referral code not only helps you with the subscription, of course, but also with access to whatever the educator is providing to you. Now, there are 5 different types of subscriptions: 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and 24 months. You can already see that there are certain, discounts already provided out here. On top of that, you will get a further 10% off when you use my referral code BE Traders. Alright, now let's begin today's class. I'm sure all of you can hear me clearly. And we've got Abhishek, Orithro, Neha, Vishnu, and who else is there? So the 5 of you are here. I can't see the 5th one, but Looks like there is another one in the class. So the 5 of you there, welcome to the class, and let's begin the class. Now, moving ahead, very quickly about the IELTS marking pattern. The IELTS marking pattern is very categorical. You are marked for grammar, you are marked for lexical resource, you are marked for fluency and coherence, and you are marked for pronunciation. Now, all these 4 categories are very specific in the sense, if you're good in your grammar, you will of course score good marks in grammar. If you're good in vocabulary, that means you provide a lot of synonyms, you'll of course do well there. Similarly, cohesion and coherence, or fluency and coherence, it's important to keep on talking, answering all parts of the question so that you can get the maximum score in IELTS, and also focus on your pronunciation. Now, when we talk about pronunciation, what we are basically talking about is very categorically speaking clearly, being audible, and in a way making it easier for the examiner to understand what you're saying. No fake accents here. Keep your accent as neutral as possible. If you have an accent, well and good. Don't pretend to be something else. Stick to what you are and use your strength to get the highest marks in IELTS. My belief is that in IELTS, the more you stick to your natural way of speaking, the better are your chances of getting a higher band score. Now, the thing is, a natural way of speaking means that you're fluent, you're clear, you're audible, you're giving a lot of synonyms to the examiner, and you're giving a variety in vocabulary. Also, your tenses, your subject verb agreement, countable, uncountable nouns are all in place. And that is what encapsulates together to make a good marking scheme. I hope you can understand that. All right, now let's move ahead. Like everything said earlier, the band score is an overall. So in order to get a good band score, you'll have to do well in all the 4 skills. So if you do well in only 2 skills and don't do well in the other 2 skills, your band score is definitely going to get affected. So very, very important to be absolutely clear with what your band score requirement is, and then approach your IELTS examination accordingly. Now let's move ahead and let's have a look at the band score descriptor. Now, the band score 9 descriptor talks about speaking fluently with rare repetitions and self-correction, which is very, very rare. So the more fluent you are and the clearer you are in terms of what you're saying, higher is your chance of scoring a band score 9 with good amount of synonyms, with correct grammatical range and appropriacy, and also with 1 or 2 slips here and there which are absolutely natural and do not reflect your inability to understand what grammar is required at that stage, is what a band score descriptor 9 all about. Don't worry, I will at some time during next month do a special YouTube class only on band score descriptors, so that it's absolutely clear to you on what each band score descriptor requires. All right, and similarly the pronunciation should be a full range pronunciation for band score 9, where you are clear, you're audible, you are using the correct neutral accent for that word, or the correct pronunciation of that word, and also you are using intonation. A lot of pronunciation features together get you a band score 9. Now let's move ahead, and similarly you have 8, 7 and 6. Now a lot of you in this class right now attending this session may be wondering, why has ma'am showed us 9? Because it's always good to aim for a higher band score, so that at least if you aim for 9 you'll get an 8 or a 7. So aim big so that you can at least go closer to that. Now the assessment criteria. Of course, there are 4 criteria as mentioned earlier: fluency, lexical resources, grammar awareness, and pronunciation. Under fluency, in order that you score a good score, you shouldn't be taking odd pauses. Avoid redundant words. Now, who will tell me? Give me an example of a redundant word from here, guys. Let's see if you can give me an example of a redundant word. Hi, AD Creation. So if I can get an example of a redundant word. Very good, Arithro. It is return back, because both return and back mean exactly the same thing. All right. Now, lexical resources includes using collocations, aware of the skill set to do paraphrasing. Now, what do you understand by being aware of the skill set to do paraphrasing? Paraphrasing means very categorically using synonyms instead of the word which is already given out there, and you know using another word instead of that, and also changing the sentence structure when you're talking. So that is what a good paraphrasing is all about: writing whatever is said, saying whatever is said in your own words. Now, grammatical awareness consists of framing correct sentences, of course, and getting your tenses right. Now, grammar is not only limited to these two qualities, grammar is limited to a lot of other qualities, and it's very, very important to focus on them accordingly so that you can score the maximum under grammatical range and accuracy. Pronunciation should be understood in the whole time of the test. Word stress and emphasis, and do not overdo any accent. My advice repeatedly is, please do not do any accent which doesn't come naturally to you. And going back to fluency, the key to complete harmony between the different stages, the key to having some kind of synchronization between the different stages is using signposting language to thread everything together. Signposting language, all linkers, um, discourse markers are nothing but needle that thread everything together. So it's very important that you've got good expertise in that. All right. Now, moving ahead, some of the synonyms out here. We are going to play a quick game, and I'm going to give you some words, and you're going to give me the synonym for those words. So, all right. So you can see some out here already, examples given. Now it's time for you to give me the synonyms of some other words that I will be calling out. Oh yeah, Neha, does is redundant. Sorry, Neha, I missed your sentence right out there. Exactly. Okay, the word that I'm going to give all of you is sunshine. The word is sunshine. Quickly give me the synonyms for this word. Sunlight, yes. Daylight, very good. Rays of the sun, excellent. Anything else that you guys can come with? Bright day, very good, Abhishek. Okay, I think that's enough. You found that. So I'll give you a very common word in the IELTS examination, and that is people. AD creation, yes, sunbeam. The word is people. So now give me the synonym for this word. Very good. Individuals. Mass. Yes. Nia, there's nothing called persons. ED, yes. For the earlier one, natural light. Yes. Citizens, very good. Erythro. Masses, yes. Abhishek. Residents, humans, very good. Okay, I think you've got that. So, the common public, and so these are the different words or phrases that you could. Now, synonym doesn't mean only one particular word. It could be a word or a phrase or a group of words together, which obviously is a phrase. So, yes, a lot of these words would help you to understand how differently you can use vocabulary in the examination. Now, today's topic is about describing people. So describing people means using a lot of grammar in terms of using a lot of adjectives. Now, adjectives are very important in the IELTS speaking examination. This is something you need to be absolutely aware of and focus on during the examination. Important to make a data bank of adjectives for describing people, describing experiences. Now, describing people could be further categorized into nature and how they look, and of course, describing experiences. So that will give you an edge over the complete, the complete adjective gamut required for the IELTS speaking examination. All right. Okay, good one, AD creation. Now, collocation is when words come together to mean something, to mean some other word naturally, organically. Now, these words do come together. It's one or two words that come together, which which say another word and are understood by that word also. Now, why these group of words, or say two words or three words, come together? Because of frequently being used in the language, because of which it gets into our communication pattern, it gets into the natural way of speaking like a native. So to play, generally we always say to play. We do not say, we do not say in play, right? So certain prepositions go with certain verbs, certain prepositions, certain adverbs go with certain verbs. So it's very, very important to understand that generally when some words, some specific words go together, it's called a collocation. Yes, human beings. Very good, AD creation. AD creation, not only human beings is a synonym of that word, but it is also a collocation. So you hit the nail with one word. So both the things, looked into with that one word. Now let's move ahead. Points that you need to remember before moving ahead is pronunciation, tenses all the time, word stress, fluency using gap fillers, and using linking devices, signposting language. Now, I've done a lot of classes on all these aspects on the Unacademy website. So it's very important to go through them in order to become adept, in order to become better in the IELTS speaking examination. Now, linkers or signposting language that you can go through and make a part of your speaking pattern are given right out here. These linkers can be used both in speaking and writing. The only thing that you need to remember is that when you're using it in speaking, it's active voice, but when you're using it in writing, it can be both active and passive voice. All right. Now, some more linkers. So here, opening, for example, listing to bring contrast, transition to generalize, to introduce a fact, or state the obvious, and to conclude. So you can see a lot of options in the conclusion, of course, generally, in general. So there is a word missing. Let's move on to another aspect. So you can look at the variety and accordingly choose. To know more about signposting language, please refer to the signposting language video, which is done on the Unacademy website. Don't worry, I'll be doing another signposting language class on the Unacademy live platform. So there are two things that I'll definitely be doing for all of you: signposting language separately on the Unacademy live platform, and also abstract speaking topics. Now, language of opinion is very much required both in part 1 and part 3 of the IELTS speaking, specifically in part 3, because you are asked to give your opinion, to give your ideas. You have to use language of comparison and contrast, language of strong opinion, language of, description. So there you need a variety of language to express your ideas to the examiner. Now, IELTS part 1, part 2 and part 3 of the IELTS examination are different in the sense that part 1 and part 3 of the IELTS speaking test looks into answering individual questions. The only difference between part 1 and part 3 is part 1 is interview questions, where you are asked questions and where you need to answer in 1 or 2 sentences. So they're not very difficult. You just have to give yes or no and explain a little bit. The thing to remember in IELTS part 1 of the speaking test is that you do not answer in monosyllables. Now, part 2 of the IELTS speaking test, part 3 of the IELTS speaking test is slightly different. There, these are discussion questions where you need to answer at least, you need to explain the question in totality. You have to show the examiner your range of grammar, range of vocab, range of language expertise. So here specifically you need the part 3 language of opinion. And IELTS part 2, the cue card section. Now, before we move to the cue card section, it's important to understand that both in part 1 and part 3 you're asked a number of questions. The difference between the two is part 1 the questions are easier, part 3 are discussion questions. So a lot more variety of questions are asked in part 3 of the IELTS speaking test, and they could be quite difficult. The examiner could also ask you follow-up questions. So that's something that you need to be aware of. In terms of part 2, it is more direct, 1 minute prep time, 2 minute talk time. And idioms are much welcome in the IELTS speaking test, unlike the writing test where you would lose marks for using idioms. So do not hesitate to use idiomatic expression in speaking. You will surely get marks if you use them correctly. But in writing, it's a big no, because it is considered as informal language, but we can certainly use it in our speaking part. Now, the cue card section, we always start with the prototype. In fact, this is the Arifa prototype, I would say. You always accept the question with thanks. Tell the examiner, "Thank you for the given topic, ma'am. It is such an unusual, uncommon, humorous." Use any of the adjectives which should be relevant to the topic. Don't use a happy adjective for a sad topic, categorically. So important to keep this in mind, but definitely go ahead, use it. It helps you kill 10 to 12 seconds right at the beginning, sometimes even 20 seconds, with good grammar, good vocabulary, and stuff that is relevant to the speaking exam. Now let's have a look at the topic. Of course, what is the emotion in the given image? Come on, the quick elicitation. Tell me, the moment you look at this image, what is the adjective that comes to your mind? More, guys, give me more words. Which person is helpful? Okay, caring, helpful. Yes, the word is kindness, guys. So the word is kindness. There are some idioms given out here to help you further express the kindness idea with some phrases and words which you could use in the IELTS speaking test. Now let's have a look at, guys, take a screenshot of these two slides so that you can use them in the speaking examination, or have a look at the topic once again later after the class gets over. Now the topic is, describe an incident where you have experienced an act of kindness towards you. Now, how do you describe people? Now, sometimes describing people does not come directly. In the last few classes, that's what I've been trying to tell all of you, that questions sometimes don't come directly, but the vocabulary that is required is definitely using describing people. You should say who the person was, where and when it happened, what the person did for you. All right? So, what do you have to do? You have to use adjectives to describe people, who the person was, where and when it happened, and what the person did for you. The person was very kind, the person was very good, the person was very helpful, the person was very caring towards me. So all this vocabulary which is required for describing people will need to be used here. Now, who the person was. I'm glad to have such a nice topic to talk about. Thank you for the question, ma'am. Always begin with that. It's a very blah 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 topic, and I would like to thank you for the opportunity. In our life, we often face challenges and obstacles that are tough to overcome all by ourselves. A little help from others can save the day, and no matter how much we criticize the human race for being self-centered, we can't deny the selfless acts that we are often offered by others, even sometimes by complete strangers. Thus, so you can see, we begin with a general perspective, and then we get into the specific one where we talk about what actually happened. So a storyline. Thus, a few months ago, someone named Khalil Ashraf did something truly kind, for which I will always remember this benevolent soul. I was in Penang Island in Malaysia last year with my wife and my 4 years old daughter on a holiday. As soon as we arrived on the island from the Muscat International Airport, we realized that the island was getting ready for the Chinese New Year. It was packed with tourists. And then you go so on and describe what has happened. So, look at the vocabulary: friendly attitude, and we were very tired, and look at all the vocabulary that has been used out here. What did this driver do for this person? So look at the different types of adjectives. I'll quickly show them back to you. Unexpected and so kind an act. Similarly, remarkable job by finding a nice hotel. So all the experiences have been used in a storytelling format in order to expand what is being said, and then adjectives are being put in various places in order to further enhance what is being expressed. Next, what the person did for you. I felt more perplexed when he denied taking the taxi rent for the extra distance he drove us to this hotel. It was a great example of kindness and empathy, and this event was an acute reminder for me to trust humanity. So if you go back and you see, kindness has been used, empathy has been used, and trust on humanity. So you can see also associated vocab has been used. So you can understand the correlation of all the vocabulary that has been used out here. So this is a very interesting one in terms of how this particular topic has been answered. First, it has begun by expressing who this person was. Even before, a general background has been given to the particular topic so that it further expands the idea. This is particularly helpful for students who have a problem with expanding their ideas. Give a general background, take a story, Give a background story so that it is easier to expand, and then use vocabulary accordingly. You've got a lot of vocabulary out here which can be used in order for you to make your speaking more strong, speaking more effective, speaking stronger. So accordingly, you can attempt this question and do it by yourself. Now, the whole thing is given out here. But before we end today's class and I give you an idea about what else you can do, there is another topic out here which talks about describing people, and that is describe a teacher once had who you enjoyed being taught by. So of course you would pick up two main ideas, two qualities about this teacher, and then expand them accordingly, which would give you an ability to understand and an ability to express this accordingly. Always remember, the approach to writing and speaking is quite similar in terms of take two main ideas and expand them, just like it's happened in the earlier one. The story has been used as an idea, and two qualities, how he was kind and also how he was helpful and empathetic, has been used. And that's it, guys, for today. And there is vocabulary out here that you can use, and there are two topics out here which have been shown which are similar and which can be used under describing people. I will see you again at 4 p.m. today, where today we are going to specifically look for common topic vocabulary for IELTS, which would be very, very useful for you for both IELTS speaking and IELTS writing. And for everyone else, currently we are doing an ultimate grammar course, and this happens every day at 8 p.m. So if you are interested, you can join me from tomorrow, 29th May. In fact, it's today, guys, 29th May at 8 p.m. See you tonight at 8 p.m. on the other side, on the Unacademy website. Thank you and good day.